Something pretty wild is happening in the world of AI right now. The very creators, the minds who built giants like OpenAI and Google, well, they're in a kind of rebellion. They're walking away from what most people would consider dream jobs. Today, we're going to dig into this AI talent exodus and figure out what it means for the future of, well, everything.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. These are the fiercest rivals in the tech world, and they're putting all that aside to issue a joint warning about the dangers of the very thing they're building. This isn't just some PR move. It's a huge red flag, a sign of some deep, shared anxiety at the absolute top. And honestly, it's the key to understanding everything that's happening next.
And that brings us to the real puzzle here. If the mission is so important, so world-changing, why are the architects of this technology abandoning the biggest, most well-funded labs on the planet to go start from scratch, all on their own?
Yeah, this isn't just one or two people getting a new job. We are witnessing a truly seismic shift here, something we're calling the Great AI Migration.
Exactly. We're talking about the key figures from the absolute titans of the industry. You know, the places everybody wants to work, and they're packing their bags. But here's the thing. They're not just moving to a rival company. They're literally burning the map and heading out to forge their own paths.
So what gives? What's really going on behind the scenes? Let's take a closer look at the cracks starting to appear in these tech giants, and maybe we can understand why these dream jobs are starting to lose their shine.
It really is the crucial question, isn't it? What could possibly be the driving force? What on earth could push the brightest minds in this field out the door of these companies that have, for all intents and purposes, unlimited resources and bottomless pockets?
Well, from what we're hearing, it boils down to that classic conflict of culture versus control. We're seeing everything from huge disagreements on values and leadership, all the way to just the sheer weight of bureaucracy that ends up stifling the very creativity these places were supposed to encourage.
In this slide right here, it just captures that disconnect perfectly. Take Google, for instance. On the outside, the promise is this amazing culture of creativity, collaboration, and employee well-being. But for some of the researchers on the inside, the reality was this frustrating maze of unclear promotion paths and just constant disruptive reorganizations. And then you look at Meta. The big AI push there has been described as a kind of modern-day Manhattan Project. And yeah, that sounds exciting, right? High stakes, all or nothing. But the flip side of that is the intense secrecy, which creates this atmosphere of huge pressure and uncertainty for the people actually doing the work.
Okay, so if all this top-tier talent is walking out the door, where are they all going? Well, it turns out this exodus has directly fueled a massive, massive startup boom. So let's meet some of these new ventures that are already reshaping the future of AI.
And would you look who's leading the charge? Two of the most senior, most important figures from OpenAI have founded their own companies. You've got Ilya Sutskever, one of the original co-founders, who created Safe Superintelligence with his laser focus on safety. And then there's Mira Murati, the former chief technology officer, who launched Thinking Machines Lab to completely reinvent how we work with AI.
And hey, if you're thinking these are just little passion projects, you might want to check the price tag. Safe Superintelligence has already hit a valuation of, get this, over $30 billion. That's not just a bet. That is a massive vote of confidence from investors that safety isn't just a feature, it's the future.
So what does Safe Superintelligence even mean? Well, for Ilya's company, SSI, the mission is absolutely everything. Their one and only goal is to build safe superintelligence, period. Commercial pressures, product launches, profits, all of that gets put on the back burner until that one singular goal is achieved.
And this isn't just an OpenAI story, not by a long shot. We're seeing the exact same kind of exodus from Google. You have Mustafa Suleyman, a co-founder of DeepMind, who launched Inflection AI. And he's joined by other really key people like Maithra Raghu and Sarah Hooker, who are all off starting their own incredibly influential ventures.
So all of this together leads us to this massive question. Are we actually witnessing the dawn of a totally new AI future? Let's try to break down the ripple effects of this huge talent migration.
You can already see the effects transforming the landscape. First, all these new safety-first startups, they're setting a whole new benchmark for the entire industry. This in turn forces a massive redistribution of talent, pulling that expertise out of the big guys. And of course, that means big tech now has to adapt and compete harder than ever. Ultimately, it leaves all of us, as a society, with a huge choice to make about the kind of AI future we really want.
And look, don't make the mistake of thinking this is just some Silicon Valley drama.
A staggering 87% of business leaders believe AI is going to be critical to their operations within the next 3 years. So, the choices being made today by this handful of researchers, they are literally going to shape the tools that power our entire economy tomorrow.
But this brings up a huge challenge. As some of these new companies maybe pivot to more profit-focused models, there's a very real danger of creating a new kind of digital divide. A world where the most powerful and helpful AI tools become so expensive that they're totally inaccessible to smaller businesses or just regular people.
So this is really the fundamental question we're left with. Is this exodus of incredible talent going to lead us to a safer, more responsible future for AI, or are we just splintering that power, accidentally creating a whole new set of super powerful, unregulated players? The answer, whatever it is going to define the next chapter of technology.